r/Nosleep, posted by Reddit user G_A93. In Mr. Hoffsetters Carnival, you must follow these rules to ride. Part 1.
Come one, come all to Mr. Hoffsetters Candy Carnival. Enjoy hot food and cold drinks, rides, games, and mazes. The largest non-commercial roller coaster you've ever seen, and much, much more. Oh, and of course we can't forget the candy. One night only special event. See you there.
Ugh, I can't stand clowns, Russell said, while shoving another handful of Pringles in his face. Me and Darla snickered at him and teased him a little. We only meant good fun. Russ was a bit of a chicken about everything, to be honest, but he was our pal. It was odd. A carnival and no announcement on the town hall board. Mrs. Newberry was slipping in her old age. I get you, Russ, but it looks fun. Anything's more fun than hanging down here in your mom's basement all summer, Darla said, half serious. Yeah, that was us. A merry group of angsty teenagers trying to survive the boring summer of '88. You know, most of our friends went on some vacation with their families. Disneyland, New York, Paris. Shit. Anywhere else was better than Angsville. Nothing but a small town running the same shitty movies at the $1 theater. The only time that place saw any action is when they would release the new Arnie flick. Same arcade with games that Mr. Johansson refused to update. Same. Nothing really happens. Nothing really changes. So when the prospect of a sugar-inducing carnival attraction sprawled up on the screen, I really couldn't disagree with Darla about the excitement. What do you think, Frank? Should we go? Darla asked me. Candy? Rides. Something not boring? Hell yeah. And that was that. Even chicken shit Russ decided a good clown scare was better than missing out on the only fun thing that happened to Angsville in the last 15 years. It was settled. I threw on my best jeans and t-shirt and headed out to meet the gang near the high school. I should have sensed the danger from the beginning of the commercial. Who advertises a commercial the day of the event? Even more, who holds any events near the old Johansson farmhouse? That place was way out on the edge of town. I, an experienced teen at the time, could have picked 20 better locations to hold a social gathering, but we pedaled our asses off towards the old farmhouse. We were met halfway there by glowing lights and the sound of festivities. The lights and sounds manifested into rides and booths. The mouth-watering smell of corn dogs and funnel cakes filling our noses. Soon, we were staring down the entrance of the greatest light show I had ever seen. Whoa, we all said in amazement. We locked up our bikes and headed towards the entrance. To our surprise, there was no one at the ticket booth. As a matter of fact, there wasn't anyone there. Everything was on. All the food was prepped, but not a soul in sight. Come on, guys. This is giving me the willies, Russ said nervously. I couldn't have agreed more. Oh, please. The first time something interesting happens in this town, you want to run away? Let's at least explore a little bit, Darla piped up. Being the only girl in the group, she definitely held some control over how cool we wanted to be perceived. I sheepishly joined her. Yeah, come on, Russ, let's give it a shot, I said. God, what a tool I was. We decided to make our way inside since there was no one there to take our entrance fee. The experience was incredible. The lights and sounds were like a sensory overload to our small-town brains. We figured we would start out small, something we couldn't really mess up. We opted for the House of Mirrors, and that's where we met him. We erupted in laughter, all of us looking distorted in some way in the seemingly infinite mirrors. For a moment, we were all just a couple of teens enjoying life. Even Russ. I nearly fell out laughing when he ran smack into a mirror, thinking it was a hall. And then, things got really serious. Oh man, Russ, you need to be careful. You could really make an ass of I said, before slamming into a mirror of my own. I sat on the floor holding my nose. Fuck! I think I might have broke my nose, I muttered, blood running down my face and onto my white t-shirt. Jesus, Frankie, be careful, Darla said, reaching out to help me up. That is, until she couldn't press forward anymore, like a glass was preventing her. Hey, what's going on here? She yelled. Guys, I don't feel so good about this, Russ complained. Just then, a man dressed like a carnival barker entered into the reflection of some of the mirrors. I recognized his voice immediately. Ah, well, look at what we have here. A couple of lovely children. Welcome to my carnival. Mr. Hoffsetter? The carnival owner? You are sharp, Frankie boy, you are sharp. Now let's get down to it, shall we? Hey, asshole, what the hell's going on? I can't move but in a damn square. What kind of joke is this? Darla roared from her end of the reflective prison. Oh, Darla, such a temper. Allow me. He waved his hand and suddenly, Darla could no longer be heard. Ah, isn't that better? Now, allow me to explain what indeed is going on here. You are now my humble guest, he said with a snicker. Here to enjoy and survive my beloved carnival. Survive? Russell repeated, a noticeable shaking in his voice. Yes, my son, survive. For you see, my carnival has no fees. No need for mortal rewards like money or material things. No, we play for souls here, my dear friends. And when you walk through those gates, you signed your souls into my consignment. I could see the tears welling up in Russ's eyes, anger flowing through Darla's face, and a mixture of dread and horror mixing in the pit of my stomach. It wasn't just the things he was saying, it was his cadence, his look, decked out in all that pinstripe bullshit, and with his face messily covered in clown makeup. Underneath I could see scars and burns, his teeth yellow and rotted. His hair under his hat was obviously thinning out and gray. He looked to be less human every second that passed. Now, my children, the rules here aren't hard. As a matter of fact, they're gonna be the only thing that makes any sense. He laughed. The queen of the carnival is in dire need of her loving teddy bear. He is a white with dark black eyes, an adorable button nose, and inside his ear is the name Maribel, stitched in red thread. When you find him, bring him to the Castleburger area and recover your reward. But be careful not to break any rules, or you might find yourself in quite a bit of trouble. He then listed the rules as follows. Number 1, never trust a clown for the correct advice, unless his name is Lenny. Lenny is the only trustworthy goof of the bunch. Number 2, there's a lost little girl looking for her parents. If she asks you for help, run away until she leaves you alone. She hasn't eaten, and you look mighty appetizing. Number 3, don't mind the mimes. They're only here to clean up the mess. Unless, of course, they approach you to entertain. Then buckle up and enjoy, but show no emotion to these clown wannabes. Unless you want to find out how real their art can be. Number 4, the only way you're finding that bear is if you can manage to beat the employee at the bottle toss booth. But be warned, if the employee hands you the ball with his left hand, you've already lost. Insist he gives you the ball with his right. He'll eventually give in, and then it's on you to knock down the cans. Number 5, never stick around where the stilt walkers are. They have their noses in the air and would crush you without a second glance. Number 6, above all, be nice to the bearded woman. She is the most dangerous player in this game. With that, Mr. Hoffsetter wished us luck and disappeared from sight. The entire room shattered. And when the noises stopped and we uncovered our eyes, we were back outside in the front of the House of Mirrors. We all gasped in a heavy heap of air. Russ was hysterical, Darla holding her throat, little by little uttering out words. I was in a bit of a daze. What the hell was that? I stated. We stood up. The once beautiful carnival was now decrepit. Ripped tents, rusting rides. It was unbelievable. Just as we were going to hightail it out of there, we heard a faint call. "Yoo-hoo," called a shadowy figure from the dark. "Who's there? Show yourself," Darla demanded. Out came an enormous clown. He wore a yellow suit with white polka dots, a big blue bow tie, and a sinister grin painted on his face. He, like Mr. Hoffsetter, was very hardened looking, scars running across his face. I could hear Russ quivering. "I hear you're looking for a bear, kid. I could help. For a price," he said in a soft but deep tone. We all looked at each other, unsure of what to do. "Come on, follow me. I'll show you where that brat's toy is at," he said with a laugh. I gotta admit, I almost followed him, until Darla spoke up. "Hey Lenny, should we trust this guy?" "Trust me?" the clown said. "Why, of course." "Lenny, tell her you can totally trust me," the clown said, looking at both me and Russ. We all knew exactly what just happened. Darla screamed out, "Run," as she spun around, nearly mowing the grass in her path with her speed. Me and Russ followed closely behind. I took a look behind me, just to see the clown staring at us, not moving. I stopped and turned around to see his shadowy self returning to the darkness, almost as if he was melting into the darkness. We ran around the Ferris wheel to regroup. "Oh my god, we need to get out of here. I knew this was a bad idea. Shit, guys, let's go." "Russell, breathe. For fuck's sake, you're a mess," Darla yelled. "Look, I don't know what the hell's going on, but we're obviously playing by their rules. I don't exactly see them letting us out of here and riding home. We have one job, to find that spoiled bitch's bear. We have the rules. Obviously, they weren't bullshitting about that." Darla was such a leader. In a time where women weren't given credit to hack it with the guys, she excelled past most boys our age. She was a woman beyond her time, so brave and courageous. I am a bit embarrassed to say it at the time, but she was definitely tougher than me, had bigger balls. Metaphorically speaking, of course. "She's right," I said. "We need to get through this. Together." "You in, Russ?" "No, I'm not. Fuck this, I should have stayed home." Russ turned around to run away, but ran into a woman, and they both collapsed on the floor. "Oh, I'm sorry, son. Please, let me help you up," she said sweetly. "Get the fuck off me, you creep. I need to get out of here," Russ screamed. It was then that we realized his grave mistake. The woman stood up straight, face now illuminated by the haunting full moon. Her eyes a deep hazel color, fists clenched. The woman was now staring Russ deep into his soul with a hateful look. A look so vastly scary, Satan himself would have a chill running down his spine, all while stroking her beard. Without another thought, she grabbed Russell's arms, put her boot to his chest, and ripped both arms off his body. The scream Russell let out still gives me chills to this day. Something between a banshee and a scared child. Blood poured out of Russ's armless torso. After running circles in a panic, Russ fell to the ground, bleeding profusely. Darla and myself couldn't react, paralyzed by the pure trauma in front of us. The bearded woman turned to us, arms still in hand. "I'm sorry, younglings. I do try to make an effort to be courteous, I really do, but I must say, a child with no manners is infuriating. Please, make sure you mind your manners in this carnival." The woman then threw the arms in front of Russell's body and casually walked into the darkness. A pack of mimes came by, pretending to stuff Russ into a cramped ambulance before taking his body off to God knows where. When I received feeling back in my body, I screamed bloody murder. Darla, though more poised, dropped to her knees with silent sobs. We had no time to console one another. As we watched from one of the other decrepit tents, enormous tall creatures came walking out. It was the Stilt Walkers.